Hello and welcome, everyone. This is Chris Jones. I'm your host of LifeWriting.com. I have with me Thaddeus Dixon, a therapist and academician. He's also the founder of Sound Minds Therapeutic Solutions and Sound Minds Music Academy. How's it going, Thaddeus?
Man, it's wonderful, brothers. Such a pleasure to finally link up with you. Life is great.
Life is great. Life is great. It's good. All of it.
All of it. Yes, sir.
I like spotlighting folks who are obviously doing some amazing things, shedding light on subjects and matters that are really meaningful and relevant today. Okay.
Sure.
And, I guess with everything that's going on in the world, we could talk about so many different things. But this one hot topic, hot button in particular, and it's dealing with that mental capacity, that mental space, right? So
right.
Someone like you who is formally trained, how did it come about, your interest in psychology and therapy in general?
Well, I have to be honest with you. My first passion is music, of course, and all the research points to the fact that music does something to your, let's say, intellectual level, your thirst for knowledge. It does a lot to your brain plasticity and things like that. But music became second nature. And me growing up in the Burke County school system, you know how it is, we're all academicians. So I wanted a challenge. And of course, hearing people say, well, psychology is hard. It gave me some type of spark to see how ambitious I could be in terms of education. So I knew that it would behoove me to kind of establish my own professional identity and do what most people don't. And that is infusing the music with the psychology to the point where I can establish my own lane, provide a living for myself, and be happy with doing the work that I do.
Music, it no matter the music, for the most part.
Right.
Certain types of music really put you in that space and place of calmness. Obviously, there's music that can get you amped up.
Does music make people crazy, or do crazy people make music? So when I was working at Georgia Regional at the state hospital teaching my music therapy, some of my best musicians were labeled as crazy because they didn't have boundaries in terms of what they thought, what they imagined.
I get it.
So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Initially, how did you go about your plan of study to go after psychology counseling and finding that cross section of music? How did that part come about?
In the year of 1995, when I was at Jackson State University, majoring in music, classical piano.
State.
Yes, sir. Deion Sanders on the map.
Yes.
My professor, Dr. Emma Bayham, back in 1995-96 said, you know what? 20 years from now, music therapy is going to be the hottest thing. And I loved this professor so much, I listened to everything she said. So, I started, once I graduated, I did music for a while, but then I started realizing, from childhood up until my college days, I wore masks every day to deal with traumatic experiences, childhood abuse, dealing with this and that in terms of family issues, to where I had to compare myself to other people. And I had to say, well, listen, if I'm wearing these masks to hide, any type of tragedies or ill feelings or, bad experiences, then how many other people are doing the same thing as well, especially within the Black community? Regardless of the socioeconomic status or, what you have, what possessions you have, your intellectual level, people wear these masks. So the beauty of it is finding a science that can help you look beyond the mask, because often so many people forget to take these masks off when we leave one environment into the next environment. So it's a sense where we all need some type of healing, or we need some type of validation to let us know, hey, it's okay to take this mask off. Wow. So long story short, I decided to go to Troy University because they had an outstanding counseling program.
Okay.
And the counseling was pretty easy to me because, understanding personality disorders and things like that, I actually lived it in a sense, when dealing with some of the people I had to deal with in my childhood. So it became easy and I became interested and said, okay, this is why I am the way I am. This is why I walk on eggshells. This is what creates those personality disorders talk that Lil Wayne talks about when he made the song How to Love.
Yes.
And so once you get into it and you start to love it, then you thirst for it. And being the only Black therapist in every situation that I've been in, and seeing how my counterparts were kind of amazed at my approach, I began to own it, and it empowered me. And then I started doing some publications. I began publishing these psychiatric journals, and, you know, being the Black therapist with the dreads, being able to catch everybody's attention, you know, people started asking me to come to these international conferences and speaking, to the point where, you know, I just love it, and I hadn't turned back since.
You know what? Box. That's right. That's right.
Right.
You know what? So, okay, I'm not gonna digress here, but you struck a nerve with that. I may circle back with something later, but first,
please do. Yes.
Sound Minds Therapeutic Solutions.
Yes.
Now that one right there. Tell us about the inner workings of it.
Sound minds. Sound. You know, when people say, okay, you're safe and sound, number one, especially in our culture, you know, we feel like therapy isn't safe or counseling isn't safe. So I wanted to come up with something that was meaningful. And so MINDS is actually an acronym. It stands for Musical Interventions, Negate, Defeating Situations. In other words, you know, we do it all the time. It's practical. We pop on our favorite song when we're going to the gym, when we're feeling sad, when we're with our boo, you know, when we're trying to work out. Right. So music by itself automatically does something to the neurotransmitters in a way that no other activity does. It heightens our neurotransmitters. So it's something I've been dealing with so that people can understand, not only do I provide counseling, but I provide therapy as well. There's a distinct difference between the two.
There's a difference, right?
Definitely a difference. And people are more prone to going to therapy because it sounds good. It's cosmetic in a sense. So I just wanted to offer a platform where I can deal with the music, which is now one of the hottest and most reimbursable services within the clinical setting, and also be able to do something I love, which is teach the music. And being a church musician for the past 25 years has allowed me an avenue to understand that not only the spiritual music, but the jazz, all forms of music have different approaches and different responses.
And primarily, which instrument or instruments do you play?
I play all brass instruments.
Okay.
At Jackson State, you know, it was a requirement. You know, I played the trumpet in the marching band. I played the French horn in the orchestra. I played the baritone, you know, way back in high school at Burke County. But because I began to have migraines so badly, I actually got a degree in classical piano. And that's where I found my niche. You know, people don't expect a dude with dreads to be able to sit down and, you know, play Bach, Beethoven, you know, all of those things. So, yeah.
See, now you're showing off a little bit. See,
man.
Hey, look, it sounds good to me.
There you go.
I've always wanted to play the piano, and I know it's never too late.
Never. As a matter of fact, when people start learning at a later age, it helps with neuroplasticity. Like, for example, I had a car accident in 2000. My brain memory and all that stuff should have been shattered. But because of the regimen of playing music over and over again, practicing scales, it allows the brain to have this thing called neuroplasticity. In other words, it can reform, it can reshape, it can regenerate. So music helps with Alzheimer's and dementia. If you have Alzheimer's patients, one of the things they're going to tell you is to get them involved in music.
Right.
So when people say it's too late, oh no, it's actually going to help your brain last a lot longer.
Absolutely, I follow.
Yes.
So with the, you know, Sound Minds Therapeutic Solutions, what is like one highlight thus far, like something like very memorable that really stands out to you?
Oh man, let me say this. Being a homeboy, one thing that stood out to me is taking a busload of kids, high school kids, to Jackson State just to audition for scholarships.
Oh.
On that bus was a young man named Patrick from Burke County who was attending Augusta State at the time.
Okay.
I took him to Jackson State. He decided to transfer. The next year he transferred. He got a full scholarship, by the way. The next year he transferred, he became drum major of the Sonic Boom of the South.
What?
I couldn't do it because I'm too short. But the first guy in the history of the Sonic Boom of the South from Waynesboro, Georgia.
Are you serious?
Look him up. That's been the highlight because I'm all about giving back. You know what I mean? And it just touched my heart. And not only that, he went on to pledge Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity University, my chapter. And so honestly, that's the highlight. You know, I've done things. I've done public speaking. I've been to international conferences. I've been published in psychiatric journals. But that, helping a young brother up and live his dream, is the ultimate. That's the ultimate reward for me.
Wow. No, that is so awesome. Yeah, you really caught me off guard with that one. I had no idea you had a story to share like that.
If you speak to anyone that knows my plight, my goal is to go back and create this purple hurricane revolt. I know you're a Burke County Bear, as I am I, but it was a purple hurricane marching band that sparked all of this interest in me.
Waynesboro Purple Hurricanes. Yes.
Tell me about it, brother. Tell me about it. And so my plight is to be able to give back and go back and take those who want to come along, you know, and musically or even psychologically. And so that's my thing. That's my passion.
Okay, so the music, I got to go here with the Academy.
Sure.
Sound Minds Music Academy. Tell us more about that.
Well, with the Music Academy, I try to create an avenue with something that's going to be self-sustaining, you know, and I've heard this ever since I began dealing with music. The average musician, just on Sunday mornings, will always be able to pay their rent and provide food for themselves. You know what I mean? So with teaching music, it's a lot different from the parents who want to put their kids in sports. And that's great because I know you're a great athlete. All right. But in terms of being an individual and coming from someone who's introverted, you know, music allows you to be the master of your own destiny. You don't have teammates all the time. So whether you mess up or whether you master it, it's based on you and what you do. So I allow an avenue where kids can not only learn an instrument, but stimulate their education, stimulate their IQs. All the tests show that, you know, the IQs are higher, the test scores are better, the socialization skills are a lot better, the self-esteem is a lot better. Everything, health, physiological statuses all increase when kids practice music regimentally. Even as adults, you know, when you practice music regimentally, you know, so I've had the opportunity through Sound Minds Academy, Music Academy, is to place a lot of kids into the church. You know, as junior musicians, you know, you make your lunch money, you can, you know, get your car money, all of that, just by being a junior musician. So while I'm playing the piano, I might have somebody playing the violin, somebody playing the guitar. All of these things help keep kids off of the street, give them an avenue so that it's not always sports centered all the time. It's not only therapeutic, but it's a coping skill. It's a coping mechanism. So once they learn and see that they're starting to cope, they're starting to thrive, then I introduce them to the psychological aspect so they can better understand what it is about the magic of music that lifts people up in such a manner.
The magic of music.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now that is as simplistic as you made it sound. That really resonated with me.
I'm glad.
The magic of music.
I'm glad.
I love it. My daughter and I were just here, you know, banging out some videos. We're watching music from the what was it, 80s? Yeah, 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Now, my daughter's, she just turned 18, by the way.
Nice. Yeah.
She's one of those old souls. She loved the older music, you know. But
sure.
Well, let's just say she recognizes good music. No matter.
There you go. She gets it from her father, of course.
Hey, I try.
Yeah. Yeah, you've done a wonderful job with her.
Hey man, I appreciate you saying that, but no, this whole idea, you know, from the Sound Minds Therapeutic Solutions to, you know, the academy itself, the Music Academy. This is awesome stuff, man. And you know, I want to learn even more about it. And
well, thank you.
In terms of particularly in terms of you know, what can I do to help branch
Oh
this
man.
thing out. I'm just saying,
Sure,
th-
sure, sure.
these type of endeavors and platforms itself, man, that
Hmm.
folks
Hmm.
have, like yourself, have created, and that really have that type of reach capability. The success story that you just shared, or the good news story that you just shared about the young brother from Burke County, uh,
Sure.
grabbing, it by the reins, by the horns, and taking off. And I'm sure he never knew he would be in some of those areas doing those things.
Well, we have a burning desire on the inside to be the best we can be. And at the time, I saw the potential in him to be in a better situation. And,
Yeah,
I knew he loved music as much as I did.
right.
And I saw the opportunity. We come from a place where, the Neil Leonards and the Willie McLeods and Mr. Roberts and those guys, the Darlings, they did the same thing for me. You know what I mean? They brought me up. I can
Right,
remember
right,
Mr. Leonard take me to the tennis court to play tennis
right.
when I couldn't, but he gave me a chance because of what he saw in me. So it's
Yeah,
only right within the universe for me to reciprocate the same thing to somebody else.
no,
And
that's
so with
awesome.
any kid, so with the academy, it's not funded through money. I don't ask a parent who's struggling, with bills or anything to pay me money. The reward is to see that kid grow, and that kid can potentially affect the well-being and the prosperity of the family. Mentally, socially, financially, all of those things. That's where my happiness comes from. So that's what's unique about Sign Miles Academy. If you go to let's say Augusta State University, which is an excellent place for music, what happens a lot of times, people will stretch out a simple lesson for 2 months
Mm,
when I show you the shortcuts and make you do it within 2 weeks, because it's not based on my need for money.
uh,
So that's what's different about Sound Mind. So send me someone, and I charge anybody to give me 5 weeks of free lessons, and then come back to me and we'll work on something, see if you like it.
nice,
Yeah, yeah.
nice. You kind of segue to where I wanted to go next, man. In terms of, obviously you just shared your current endeavors, and you
Sure.
can touch on and expand on any others. But now I'm thinking, futuristically, right?
Hmm.
What
Hmm.
what what do you have in the works? Like, what would you envision this thing being or morphing into in another, I don't know, 10, 15 years or whatever?
Doc, let me tell you, I'm glad you asked. Okay, so currently I'm not only in seminary at Columbia Theological, but I happen to be the SGA president for my class. And
Ah,
so I've gotten buy-in because people are starting to understand the spiritual connectivity of music and well-being. So within the next 2 years, my goal is to have a statewide youth orchestra that deals with children who not only suffer from mental health illnesses, but who are otherwise not as lucky or fortunate to be able to participate in extracurricular activities. So my orchestra will focus on inner city kids and rural kids because, obviously I'm from a rural area. And so it's a program where, the kids will meet like twice a month, like a music conservatory. We'll study jazz, we'll study classical, we'll study music writing, we'll study all of the things that I've had an opportunity to practice within my music therapy, component. And, at that time, we'll go around the state and we'll march and we'll sit down and play at the Baptist convention, at the Presbyterian convention, at the Optimist Club convention, wherever there's an arena for us, so that people can understand that there's goodness in children or goodness in young adults. It's just given the opportunity to do what it is that they love. So I'm looking for some grant writers and things of that nature, for some community support, for some corporate sponsors. But God's got it all planned out. I just got to keep doing what I'm doing and listen. Just like I didn't know I'd be here today, linking up with you, talking about some positive stuff. Just keep living, man. God's got everything worked out. But those are definitely my goals. And lastly, I
absolutely.
plan to go back to Waynesboro, where hopefully I'll become a pastor within the next 2 years,
Okay.
and do some serious property acquisition so that not only can I develop a mental health sector right in the heart of Waynesboro, but also within that mental health sector, develop a fine art sector that will be able to provide the mental health and the arts right there at the same location, as well as the theological perspective, as I assume the position as a pastor.
Brother.
No sleep.
Brother.
Huh?
That's man, you just motivated me to the T.
Man.
That is, you talk about if what you just shared isn't inspiring, and what I'll just leave it there.
Bless you, brother. Bless you.
That's awesome, and I can hardly wait to see it.
Yes.
I will be there.
You're gonna pull this video up out of your this segment up out of your archive. See, hey, that brother started right here. You know what I mean? And it's serious. It's serious, brother.
Like, you know what? I remember when Dr. Dixon.
There you go. Yes, sir.
Was in his infancy planning stages.
Sure.
And he spoke it and put it in the atmosphere. It's good stuff, man.
Brother, I haven't shared this call to this degree with anyone else.
Wow.
And definitely not on anyone else's platform. Because I remember growing up in the pecan orchard, didn't have a way to go anywhere on a Friday night, and you could just hear that Purple Hurricane band, and it gave me life. You know what I mean? I didn't have too many friends to hang out with, on house arrest, couldn't go, but that music allowed me to imagine.
Right.
It allowed me to imagine what I could be. The rhythm did something. It does something to your heartbeat. It aligns your heart, your pulse with your desires and your creative. So I want to be able to show, hey, listen, this is that little boy all grown up. All of those dreams are bubbling over. And like you said, you'll be there. You'll be around.
That's powerful.
Yes, sir.
That is again, it's powerful, it's motivational, crazy inspiring. And yeah, I'm just so looking forward to seeing all of that come to fruition.
Bless you, brother. I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you.
Man, absolutely. Hey, Thaddeus, brother, I can't thank you enough for coming on here and sharing what you did, and you just touched on it a few minutes ago, and offering up the level of transparency that you did to divulge some of those things that you aspire to do. So, hey,
sure,
man, I thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. I appreciate having the opportunity to.
Man, well, look, I'm going to be in touch. I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and this is only one of the beginnings.
Amen, brother. Amen. And I just want you to know, I fully support you. I fully support you in what you're doing. It's bigger than big, and just being able to do it with somebody that, I've looked up to for a long, long, long time. We go way back. But to be able to chop it up on this level is a manifestation of God, brother.
You are exactly right. And I totally agree and receive all of that. For sure. Brother, I will be talking to you soon.
Peace and blessings. I look forward to it. Peace and blessings.
Oh, man. Thaddeus Dixon. Oh, boy. Hey, man, you blessed me with that one, Thaddeus. Hey, so look, everyone, you heard it from him, what he's doing, what he aspires to do. Thank you guys so much for your continued support of LifeWriting.com, where writing speaks.